The Fox Body Mustang would be produced for over 15 years. That's a long time to be the face of Ford's brand. And over those 15 years, that face would get a few facelifts. Okay, it would get a lot of facelifts. Alright, it would get a bunch of facelifts. And that is why I made the Guide to the Faces of a Fox. When you're trying to differentiate between the foxes you may see out on the street, it is best to break it down into two different eras. There's the four-eyed fox bodies, which were produced from 1979 all the way through 1986, and the arrow nose cars, which would be produced from 1987 through 1993. 1979 to 1982 would see two distinct but different faces for the Fox Body Mustang. The very first one, I believe, is the Egg Crate Grille. Now, the Egg Crate Grille was the very first, and I believe for a reason. It was put on there because, as you see, it's a little bit more subtle, a little more subdued. It allows the lines of the newest pony car to speak for themselves. Generally, without badging, it would be just the egg crate, although every now and then it would get a little Ford badge right in the driver's side face. Then there's what I call the Pace Face. That would be the face of the 1979 Ford Mustang. These cars were used to commemorate the 1979 NASCAR season and were used in the Daytona 500 as the official NASCAR pace car. This front fascia on the Mustang gave it a much more aggressive, much more masculine look. You can see with the two bars going across the front and the more pronounced front bumper, it really has an angry look, as if it's going to take your lunch money. That would be why Ford in 1982 chose to use this face to pronounce that the boss was back. When you compare a 1980 Cobra with the Egg Crate Grille as opposed to a 1980 Cobra without the Egg Crate Grille, you can clearly see a difference. One looks like it has a little mustache and is waiting for you to tell it's its woes. The other one is wearing a chin strap and getting ready to tackle you. Just look at that face. So angry. The 1983-84 Fox Body Mustangs would see a completely new face. In 1983, Ford would actually mix the two, the Egg Crate and the Pace Face, to create the Waterfall Grille. You can see what they did was they took the Egg Crate from the middle and the two bars, and they really just made a nice framing for that Waterfall Grille. The more pronounced front bumper allows the paint job to go all the way from the hood down to the face, adding it as a special character for these cars and only the 83 to 84 years. A waterfall grille that was a touch from the land yachts in the 1970s is a real nice touch on a sports car. Quick, is this an 83 or an 84 Mustang? Do you know? How do you tell the difference? It's the fog lights, friends. In 1983, the Ford Mustang didn't have any fog lights, and in 1984, they installed them again. These would be a classic thing for the Mustangs to have on and off throughout the years. As you see, once you bring in the fog lights, it brings the whole face down, making a much classier look. There was a third Fox body I did forget to mention at the beginning. In 1984 through 1986, Ford's Special Vehicle Operations Unit would create the Ford Mustang SVO. These two-eyed, more European-inspired Mustangs would be a fox of a whole different breed. Like if an arrow nose and a four-eye had a baby. That's what these cars look like. All jokes aside, these cars came with a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and a race-tuned suspension. These cars were super duper quick, and while they may not have been the 5.0, they could keep up absolutely pace for pace with the 8-cylinder big brother of the Fox bodies. That brings us to the 85-86 four-eyed fascia. This is the most classic and iconic. That is the face you see when you think of early 80s Mustangs. The Mako's mouth, the black dials, that's a happy-go-lucky little face. It's going to go ahead and take your lunch money from you. The simple and uncluttered look of the 85-86 Mustang is easily the reason why it is the most iconic and ageless of the Fox bodies. That brings us to what is probably the most memorable of the Fox body faces. 1987 would see Ford do away with the 4 eyes, close in the grille, put on that blue oval, and then bring back fog lights and class systems. These GTs would come only with the 5.0 motor. They would also have a ground effects package that would make the cars look longer and leaner and more like the big brother of the brand. And when there's a big brother, there will be a little brother. The 1987 to 1993 LX Mustangs came with either a 4-cylinder or an 8-cylinder engine, but no fog lights. As you can see, this plucky little face had the single bar with that blue oval still directly in the front. These were LX Mustangs, these were SSPs or the police cars, and grocery getters for your little family. These cars were still great though, lightweight, super fun, and with that face, how could you absolutely not love them? And finally, that brings us to the most desired of all Mustangs, the 1993 SVT Mustang. As you can see, they opened up the grille for these GTs, bring back the Mako's face, as well as the coolest of the levitating running ponies. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Fox and Pony Show where we talked about all the faces of the Fox body Mustangs. Please make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and share it with all your friends. Make sure you be safe, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us on the Fox and Pony Show.